Hey, this is Pat Shand, writer of Robyn Hood, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Grr, arg.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. You are expecting to hear Batman TMNT Adventures with Joe Reed and I. That will be out, it'll be out late. Joe just had a baby, folks. I'm, of course, TFU and Mike, so Joe is dealing with all his family stuff. But we have an interview today, and we have a returning guest of Pat Shand. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Sometimes I wish it would stop, but it's going. And for those of you who don't know, for those of you who haven't listened, go back. The link will be in the post. Go back to Steve and I did Robyn Hood month. I think it was July of 2015 or so. Yeah, because it's been about 2 years since you and I talked. Where we talked about the first kind of run of Robyn Hood over there at Zenescope, which Pat wrote and all of that. So check all those podcasts out. Steve and I are going to be doing another Robyn Hood month here in June, or well, coming up in June, because this will actually be out later on the 24th of May. So this coming up next month, we're doing Robyn Hood month in June inside the Pull Bag. We're going to talk about all 4 volumes of the ongoing series, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Love that series. Love those characters. I just want to kill that lady because of that cat. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. My least favorite ever review of Robyn Hood was this person who posted that they couldn't get past the first scene, and it seemed that the book was supporting animal abuse. And it's like, no, that's not the lead character. That is clearly the villain.
Yeah.
She's on screen for like 3 pages, and then she's brutally murdered. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm very clearly pro cat if you're on my social media.
Yes.
It's true.
We know. It's a cat eat dog world in your house.
It really is.
So you've been doing Robyn Hood for, at the time when the ongoing ended, you've been doing it for what, 5 or 6 years or more?
It was 40 years. I did it from 2012 to 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Very awesome.
Long time, man.
Long time and a lot of stories.
Yeah, it feels, looking back, I thought it was more sporadic than it was, but pretty much every miniseries that we did before the ongoing did lead into another miniseries. So there was a mini, a one-shot, mini, a one-shot, mini, ongoing. There was almost no break at all for 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the ongoing came, and it actually got me to read other Zenescope stuff, because I'm one of those types that my general default is superheroes, but sometimes when DC and Marvel screw things up, like killing Nightwing for one thing, morons. I know he's alive, I know he's back, but it's not anyway, that's a whole other tangent. So when I first, found your comic and, with Robyn Hood and Zenescope, and that they're doing the Grim Fairy Tale stuff, I have not gotten into a lot of their stuff. I've read all of the Robyn Hood stuff. I have read the 10th anniversary issues, which those were 6 individual comics.
Yes.
Lou's Cinderella was amazing. So, as soon as he had Jack say Cinderella, I'm like, oh, you magnificent bastard, you.
I did love the big mice. I thought that was an awesome idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've read various Red Riding Hood stuff, which actually works because she kind of ties into Robyn.
Right.
And that's another one of my go-to characters. But I have not had a chance yet to get into a lot of the other stuff over there. But you've got something new up your sleeve, which actually, congratulations, just got funded last night.
Oh, yes, thank you. It's my all-ages comic. It's called Clonsters. The creator is my fiance Amy, and we're writing it together. It's an all-ages book. It's kind of like Adventure Time meets Our Real Monsters. It is this fantasy world populated by these creatures, these monsters made from clay, hence Clonsters, who go on these adventures together. So it's a very open concept where we could do more stories as well. But right now, our first book in this series just got funded. It's on Kickstarter right now. We have 30 hours left to go. So if you like all ages books, if you like Pixar, Disney type stuff, but also that weird sort of the 90s Nicktoons had this weird vibe that you don't really see in cartoons anymore. So we married that kind of strangeness with the adventure of modern cartoons. And I think that readers will like that. And we have it on Kickstarter right now. 30 hours left to go. So you can still get it.
Awesome. Now, you said that she had created these, and I saw that one of the live streaming videos you guys did, these were clay creatures she had been creating.
Yeah, she made them first from polymer clay. She is a sculptor. She was just messing around, and she was trying to find something original to do, because when she was first starting with clay, she was watching tutorials and trying to learn her way around. And then one day she just randomly put that aside and started to do her own creations, her own idea. And the first thing to come up was a Clonster. And she has since made many Clonsters. She makes them on her Etsy. She has people who come into her job and special order them. So it's been pretty successful as far as that goes. So when it was time to do a second Kickstarter, she suggested Clonsters, because I had been saying for a while that we should do a book based on this. And when we had an opening, she suggested to finally do the book, and yeah.
So who are some of the main characters in the book?
In the book, we have Polly. Polly is our lead character. Her species is Earth Nugget. That is a sort of nugget-shaped monster who are primarily very friendly creatures. They're almost like the human-type characters. Her journey in the book is she's a breeder of a species called Splats. Splats are like the cats of the Clonsters world. They're these funny sort of tongue hanging out cat-like lizard creatures who are the pets of the Clonsters world. But she has this respect for Splats that other people don't. Other people will poach their horns, they'll sell them, but Polly breeds them, and she helps cultivate good things for Splats. She's almost like a Splat rescue. So when her Splat goes missing, she goes on a quest to find it, and she explores her world at large. We get to meet different sorts of creatures, like the wise pocket rocks. There are sea nuggets who are mysterious and have a connection to the Splats that will shed light on what they are. And it's sort of like there was this vibe in the 90s cartoons where the cartoons had a message, but they weren't preaching. Right, like you had these environmentalist cartoons where it speaks to about how you should keep the world safe without being like Captain Planet, right? So we wanted to do a cat rescue type comic that wasn't so preachy, where you can read it as a story, and it doesn't even seem like a cat rescue comic, but when you apply it to our world, it is sort of an animal conservation type idea.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Where, besides the Kickstarter stuff, once you guys actually put this into production from the Kickstarter funds that you raised,
right,
is that going to be done through a publisher, or are you going to self-publish it? Or are you going to how is all that going to work?
Well, for my first Kickstarter for Destiny N.Y, that was my first ever independently published book. I opened up a small publisher to do that. So this one's going to be going through that too. We're called Continuity Entertainment. And this is our second book. I'm going to have it at conventions. It's going to be online through our social media for sale. So yeah, if you just search Continuity Entertainment on Facebook, on Twitter, we're there. We're going to be selling the book, and I'll have it at my table where Amy will also have her Clonsters, her clay creations, going forward.
Very cool. Is this also going to have digital distribution on Comixology as well, or just print only?
It'll be digital. We're working in Comixology first for Destiny N.Y. We're going to release chapter by chapter of that, hopefully one every month leading up to the Kickstarter for Volume 2 this September. So yeah, I hope to debut Destiny N.Y. Chapter 1 on Comixology this June, and then followed, when that's all out, we'll probably do one or two pieces of Clonsters as either a full graphic novel or 2 issues on Comixology.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Yeah, it's been all Clonsters the last 3 or 4 weeks. I almost forgot about Destiny New York. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We did go hard for Clonsters because with Destiny, that was a longer campaign. There was a longer build to that. I put the first issue out as a webcomic first so people could get a taste of it. But Clonsters, we booked the artist, got some pages done, and went right to Kickstarter. At a short campaign, it was just 17 days. And then we just blasted through it. So it has been all Clonsters all the time these past few weeks. But Destiny New York is coming. I have my shipment coming. I have one smaller shipment coming either this weekend or the beginning of next week, followed by, in like the next week or the week after, a shipment of 1,000 copies. So that'll be here soon. I'll be sending all the rewards out. And that's the book that we're going to go hard in. That is our ongoing series.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, on the topic of Robyn Hood, that's the book I used to fill in the gap of Robyn Hood in my life. Because Robyn Hood had always been the book that I sort of poured myself into. It was ongoing. I always had it. Destiny, I wanted to do that without having to take the notes that I didn't agree with from a publisher who owns the concept. I wanted to own the story that I'm putting myself into at that level. So that is Destiny New York, and that is coming quite soon.
Awesome. So with Destiny New York, for those that don't know about it, tell us the basic premise behind this.
All right, so the premise is that magic is real. It's a part of everyday life, so it isn't exceptional, right? It's like in Harry Potter, where magic is real, you see a world defined by magic. In Lord of the Rings, magic is such a big part of life, even though it's just a part of life. So I approached magic as more of a mundane thing, where, all right, so we eat, right? We eat food all the time, but when you see a show, if the characters never eat, if you never see them eating, you don't question it. It's just a part of life. Destiny New York, I didn't want magic to be the focus. I wanted it to be there in the world, but I wanted to explore what the world would be like if this was actually real. And if it was actually real, people wouldn't be using it all the time. It wouldn't be this big thing that defines life. I wanted to do a very down-to-earth, grounded take on a world where magic is a real thing. And it follows this girl, Logan, who had a prophecy about her when she was 13, and her prophecy came through. She fulfilled her destiny. And now she's 30 years old. She's trying to make it in life, trying to find her way. And it sort of asks the question, when you've already done the greatest thing you're ever going to do, what's next for you? How do you live a normal life knowing that you've already peaked pretty much?
That sounds interesting. And the first thing I can think of when you say, magic is the background more than the foreground, I'm like, so there's no tall blondes walking around wrinkling their noses at anybody? Oh, gotta love that Bewitched humor.
God.
Could
I
be.
haven't seen that show in such a long time. That's some Nick at Night classics for me.
Of course.
Definitely.
As long as there's no Hollywood girls that want to get into acting but end up in a alternate dimension with some guy being betrothed to them.
Yeah,
she's got giant headaches, folks, because she's not part demon yet.
No. Yeah, keeping it very, very grounded.
What other characters is Logan going to run into in Destiny?
All right, she has her girlfriend Lilith, who is a chain-smoking, sort of secretive person who we're not sure in the first volume if she's good, if she's bad, what her intentions are. There's Gia, who has this... Gia is a classmate of Logan's. She's sort of like the most popular girl in school. She is the one who has the biggest, most important destiny. And Gia sort of comes to terms in this book with what her destiny means, because we always see a trope of fantasy fiction is the prophecy that you'll have to kill some Dark Lord. So with Gia, her arc is, I have to kill someone, but this is a person, right? And it's sort of taking that idea of a prophecy to kill someone and applying it to a real world where people are people. There's Anthony, who's a seer. There's Augustin, who is Logan's coworker and best friend. There's his husband, Andre, who is this guy. He's very oblivious to Augustin's strife because Augustin wants romance. He wants life to be lively. He wants action and adventure. And Andre is a 45-year-old man who's content to be at home, playing video games, watching Netflix, and just living life. And he has no idea that he has this sort of underlying drama because he just is oblivious to it. There's a trio of younger kids at Logan's school because Logan is in graduate school. When you complete your prophecy at Destiny University, you stay in a graduate program that sort of prepares you for everyday life. But there are the younger kids who are Joe Rollins, Cherry, and Mary Beth, who are 14, 15 years old, who are about to be in high school, and they're also coming to terms with what their prophecy means. So yeah, it tries to explore the idea of destiny in adolescence and in adulthood.
Very cool, very cool. With Clonsters, do we have a price point yet, or no?
Yes, Clonsters. Right now on Kickstarter, it's $15. I'm going to figure out the price once we have it as a book, because with Kickstarter, part of the deal is not only are you buying it, but you're part of this. You're helping make it a thing. So
right.
Just because I have it as 15 here doesn't mean it's going to be 15. But also, the thing about Destiny is that was priced at $25 on Kickstarter, and that was just 120 pages. But by the time it was done, I'd added 30 more pages, and I have made enough money on the Kickstarter that I decided that when I print the book, price it at $20, because we had made enough money, and I felt that I was giving the backers a bigger thing than we'd planned on, right? It was 30 pages of content longer, so I felt good about that. But with Clonsters, because Clonsters is a shorter book, so if that one ends up being longer, I might not be able to cut the price because it will just be a lot more expensive to produce. But I'm thinking either 10 or 15, but I'm leaning 10.
Okay. All right. So this is what you're doing currently. What are you planning on doing? Just more creator-owned stuff as you guys go along, or are you? I mean, I know nobody can say. Oh, I mean, you can sit here and say you'd love to do something for this comic company, that comic company, but do you have any other aspirations of going back to work for a publisher?
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So I mean, my main plan is to. Because here's the thing. Here's what no one really talks about. I live in New York right now. It's very difficult to live in New York while being freelance. So I take almost every freelancing gig I can get just because freelancing is my day job, right? Like the creator-owned comics, that's my passion. And I really do enjoy freelance writing. But it's my day job, so I can make sure that I can pay rent, that I can live somewhere.
Right.
But on that note, though, there are work for hire gigs that I would just love to get. There are companies that I have worked with that I've loved working with and would do so again. There are companies that it's my dream to work for. So for sure, it's I do separate it from my creator-owned work, but it's a different kind of passion. I still do love that stuff. Like for instance, today. My first ever novel came out. It's my Guardians of the Galaxy novel. It's called Space Riot, and that's freelance, but it's also a dream come true, So it feels disingenuous to compare it on my part to my creator-owned work, because while I do separate it, I can't say that I'm less excited about Guardians, because it's a different kind of excitement. Like when Destiny arrives here and I open it, I'm going to look at it like my child. But with Guardians, I'm just like I'm excited. I'm just glad to be part of that universe.
You're essentially Mary Poppins.
Yeah. I am, and I look toward freelance work like this. I'll take what I can get, and I will take gigs that I know I can do a great job on, but there are some gigs that I'm just objectively more excited about. Like, I can't lie, I'm very excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, that's getting that gig was very exciting for me. And to have that book coming out this year, and followed by 2 other Marvel novels. I have an Iron Man and an Avengers novel, both coming out in July. And those are the ones I'm most excited about. I have something for a publisher I can't name yet. It's a publisher I've been trying to work for my entire career. It's coming out this year, I believe. It's a great property as well. I wish I could say it. It's physically painful that I can't say it because I'm just so happy about it.
I'll drag it out of you when no one's listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I have stuff coming out for Avatar's company, Boundless. I have some more Zenescope stuff. Just I just got this gig actually, and no, not just got it, but I just decided to do it. Spirit Hunters is this Zenescope book that I had. We plotted it like a TV show. We sat in a writer's room, plotted it all out together, and I wrote of the first 6 issues. I wrote or co-wrote 4.
Okay.
And then toward the end, they called me up, and because I already have a plotting credit, they asked me if I wanted to come in and script the final 3 issues, and I said sure. So I'm working on that now as well. And that's the extent of what I could talk about now.
Okay.
I have creator-owned work, though, coming out from other publishers besides myself. I have one coming out next year from a company that has made some waves this year. And I feel like such an ass that I'm just vague booking right now.
That's all right.
But you know, I mean, we get in these phases where we've already announced all we can talk about. So what we're excited about is what's next, and we can't quite talk about what's next.
Yeah. You can't quite turn that corner just yet.
It's true. But what's funny though is right now I'm working on almost exclusively all ages content, and then like hard R content. Like the thing that Avatar and Boundless does is just like they take everything to the extreme. So the violence is extreme, the cursing is extreme. Everything's extreme there. And then I'm here working on Clonsters and this all ages other property that I can't mention that I'm fucking dying to.
Ooh, that's hilarious. It's like, okay, honey, I'm gonna go to my day job where I get to curse and write about blood and guts and gore, and I'm gonna come home to you and we're gonna talk about these little clay creatures that were in your brain.
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you have any convention appearances that you want to talk about upcoming?
Yeah, I have. For New Yorkers, I have Eternal Con. That is a Long Island con. I'm doing it in July, followed by Rock Con. It's a Rochester Comic Con. That is in September. Same month, I have Baltimore Comic Con. And unless I'm mistaken, and to be honest, I probably am missing something that just off the top of my head, but those are the ones that I'm aware of right now. I didn't book as many cons this year because I'm getting married in August, and I'm running 2 Kickstarters. So my idea is that when I have more stock, because for the primary convention run of my life, I've been selling Zenescope books. And now that I'm out of Zenescope as a staffer and I'm on my own producing work, I want to sell that work. So I want to build up some more of that before I dive into the conventions hard again. So yeah, right now I'm looking at Eternal, RockCon, and Baltimore, and maybe some more. Maybe some more.
Alrighty then. So folks, as I said at the beginning of this, coming up in June, Steve, Megatron, and I are going to dive into Robyn Hood. That sounds creepy and wrong, but we are. We're going to dive into the ongoing series from Zenescope, and we're going to talk about all 4 volumes. I have only, on its initial issue-by-issue, single-issue run, I've only read up to issue 17, but I do have to ask you, did you get a satisfying conclusion to your story? You've been working on this for 4 years. Do you feel the 20 issues in the annual and the holiday issue, all that stuff, do you feel that you had done everything that you wanted to do with that character and her world?
Okay, so
at least at that point.
It's hard to answer that because, all right, so on one level, I wrote a good ending. I wrote the right ending. Mm-hmm. It would have ended around that way, no matter where I ended it. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that I didn't initially want like 100 issues.
Everybody wants 100 issues, dude.
Yeah, and I had ideas, but to be super honest, my ideas were based on what I originally wanted it to be. And very early on, Zenescope was like, "Oh, you want Robyn to date Marion?" No. so from jump, I had to sort of repurpose my idea, and I was doing the book I wanted to do for the most part. And that's why I wanted to do Destiny, because when you're doing a book that you're so passionate about, as I was about Robyn Hood, it's that the most part that sticks out. Robyn Hood was 99% my dream book. And that 1% that I couldn't do my way, and here's the thing, I understand, Zenescope owns Robyn Hood. If I were to write Batman, I couldn't go on and do it 100% my own way. DC owns Batman, so I understand it 100%. But that lack of ownership is why I wanted to do my own thing. But yeah, the answer is that in those 20 issues of the ongoing, plus the holiday issue and the final annual, yeah, I did what I wanted to do. Would I have liked more? Would I have had stories for more? Yes, but at the same time, I could have done more. They weren't saying get off the book. I left the book. That was my choice because I did get the note that they wanted it to be more of an action-centric book, and that wasn't how I saw the book. So I was just thinking, maybe it's just better if I end my run where it still feels like my run, because I wouldn't want I know right now that on many of the books, Joe Bruscia, who co-created Zenescope, who's the co-creator of Grim Fairy Tales, he's co-plotting a lot of the books. And I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want a co-plotter on Robyn Hood, just because for those 4 years, I was writing Robyn Hood, and that was just me pretty much, and I would get these notes and apply them, and I would feel good about some, others not so much. But I didn't want to change how I was doing things, so I thought it was best to finish it up while it still felt like mine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, where can the people find you online?
I am at Pat Sham pretty much everywhere.
All right, you want to give out the Kickstarter info again before we get out of here?
There's a longer link, but you can just find the easier one to click on my Twitter. It's on twitter.com/PatShan. I'm at PatShan there, at PatShan on Instagram and Facebook. So if you go to any of those, pretty much all you'll see is Clonsters. So you'll find that link. And also, hey, if you missed Destiny New York, there's a tier on Clonsters that you can order that as well. So you can get both of those books there. But I do want to say, too, I'm very excited to hear your take on Robyn Hood, because looking back at my run, I love the trilogy, but it's the ongoing that feels like I got to do something crazy. That was just – I sat down and I made up some solicits, but pretty much every month I sat down and said, what do I want to do now? And that was cool. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing you revisit that and read the end for the first time, because it felt very me in that moment. So I'm excited to see how it feels to someone else now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we blitzed 2 years ago. I blitzed through the first 3 volumes and the Age of Darkness one shot and things like that and whatever else. And I was ready for the ongoing, and I was reading it almost monthly. I was almost reading it, when it was coming out, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Going back to it, it's really not that hard, at least for, like I said, the first the first 2 arcs of it, at least. It's just that end section that I didn't really catch at the time, so that's going to be kind of fresh for me. And I've just loved the story with her. I love it when my favorite parts. You guys really, I don't know if it would be you and Lou, you and Jeff, somebody. You guys need to get together. You guys need to do a Robyn and Red series. Like, seriously, Robyn and Brittany together are great.
Well, I'll tell you this. Jeff Massey and I tried. We wrote an outline, we pitched it, and it didn't even get a response. Like, not even an email back.
Wow.
And that was years ago. That was when I was still writing Robyn Hood.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the summer of the end of Robyn Hood. It was going to be Robyn versus Red Volume 2. We mentioned it in conversation, wrote the outline, and then nothing. So I have no idea what happened there, but I liked it.
That would be awesome.
Thanks, man.
Because, well, like I said, I just read the first trade, the first volume of the ongoing, and it's the one. It's where Red comes back and they're friends and they have they're not enemies anymore. So
right.
A team up series would just be awesome. I think.
I think so too. Because it felt that of all the cast of Robyn Hood, Red wasn't really in that cast, but she was sort of adjacent to it. Like, I brought in Van Helsing as a main character, but Red sort of just guested. So it would be fun to have her actually have a longer meaty series with Robyn Hood.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. You've been listening to the Pullbag second interview with Mr. Pat Shand. As I said, Batman TMNT episode is kind of delayed, but next week we've got JT and myself coming back to talk about what we call Part 2, but it's essentially issues 3 through 5 of the Escaping the Grave Batman Beyond 2016 arc, because we're wrapping up Batman month, heading into Robyn Hood month here inside the Pullbag. You can find us on Twitter at the Pullbag. I am at TFG1 Mike. He is at Pat Shand. You can also follow at Geekcast Radio for all the other network updates. Make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
Oh my God, Angel, you're cute.
Fred, don't.
Oh, but the little hands and the hair.
Hey, you're fired.
Hi, this is Pat Shand, writer of Robyn Hood, and you have jumped inside the Pullbag.